Hello everyone, we are again back on a Friday morning. You see, today's weather is a bit hot and sultry. Even hot and sultry weather doesn't, fail to fascinate you because the nature is such. So, we are always fascinated by the quality and the beauty of nature. Today we are going to discuss about a very great issue, that is maintaining the length of a writing. So, when you say maintaining the length, we are going to discuss about two things primarily, that is increasing the length, and in another circumstance we have to keep the length proper place. So when I say keeping the length in proper place, it means you're maintaining the word limit that is given by the examiner or by the question paper. So there are certain circumstances where the questions fall within your genre, and you get very much excited after looking at the question paper, and you think, okay, well, I can write a lot of things on this topic. And there are again another contradictory circumstance where you do not get proper flow of information. You see that okay, maybe you had known about the topic a few days back, or you have heard about it, but rather what happens is you do not land up with proper flow of information during the examination. So that time what happens, you mess up with your answers, and the answer script do not sound well, and you land up with poor marks. In competitive exams like IELTS, or what do you say, IELTS, then you have SAT, TOEFL. In most of these competitive exams, you are supposed to maintain the word length. So, for example, we'll talk about IELTS academic. In IELTS academic writing and as well as IELTS general training writing, so you need to maintain a good length. So, for example, in the writing task 2 of IELTS academic, you're supposed to maintain 250 words. So they ask you to write the answer in not more than 250 words. Okay, so when they say it's not more than 250 words, you are mandatorily going to maintain 250 words. Okay, so you can write either 230, 240, 248, or maximum 250. So that's the maximum range of maintaining 250 words. But as far as the length is concerned, there's another issue that you cannot meet the requirements, or you do not have the optimum level of information to fill up your paper. Like for example, in the American curriculum or in the British curriculums, in O levels and A levels, you have a good lengthy syllabus for both English language and English literature. On those circumstances, you need to write maybe 350 to 450 words, so you need to increase your length. And in some circumstances, they mention that you need to write minimum 300 words. So when they say minimum 300 words, you go on writing 400 and 500, doesn't matter. But when you get overexcited and you write such a long and lengthy answer, then what happens? You fall short of time. You cannot complete your answers, and your answer script remains blank, and sometimes it's very much incomplete, so you land up with a very poor marks and you get disheartened. So in order to overcome those circumstances, we'll discuss about certain things here. And I hope the students and the viewers will enjoy and get good information from this video. You see, when you're writing something, you need to understand you are communicating. Okay, so there are many students or many people who believe that writing cannot be communication. You see, my friend, generally the writing is conducted in the form of a mechanized form, that is, you move your hand and it writes, but behind that movement there is a cognition, there is a process of thought, there is a process of a flow of information that's flowing from your brain to your mind, and then it's coming on the paper, I mean the answer script. So you need to maintain a balance, a proper balance should be there. And when you're writing, the information has to come in a proper flow. So otherwise, you see, when you're not planning well, when you're not sketching your answers well, you either write short answers or either you write long answers. So when I say long or short, you fall with a bad score. So that is very much disheartening for any student. Neither of us want a poor score here, and I always want students to do well. So but for that, having a proper sense of length is very, very important. So you see, when you're writing long answers during English literature examination, your planning should be there. And there are certain students, like in my previous videos I had mentioned about planning while writing. And again, there's another thing called pre-planning, that is, you plan before you start writing. So you are already ready that I'm going to make 4 line or 30 words introduction, or I'm going to write a 200 words description, then I'm going to conclude it within 20 words or 15 words. So it depends on your writing, and there are certain students who are good enough to make a plan while writing. So it varies from individual to individual, but maintaining the length is very important. Yes, and while I was talking about communication, writing is a form of communication, but which is mechanized in form, right? But when I am talking and when I'm discussing, like over this video, this is also a form of communication, but here it's done verbally or orally. But when it's writing, it's mechanized. Your hands are moving, and then you put up the information on the answer script, right? So you need to understand that you're bringing about a discussion. It's a communication, it's a discussion. So when you are sitting over a cup of tea, like you sit with your friends and sit with your mates during your, during your leisure time, you are always, biting over a cake or biting over chips, and then you are having a cup of coffee around you. So and then you go on talking and having a discussion about particular topic. So on those circumstances, just put yourself there, and you try to understand that what type of information do your friends want. So there's a topic which arises, and then all those friends, all the mates, they go on talking over this, right? And you are taking a sip over the cup of coffee, and you are going on talking. So the same thing is happening while writing, but in this case you are not having a cup of coffee or tea, rather you go on giving up the information, right? But in both the cases, information is being flowed. So when information is being flown there, and you need to understand there should be a proper planning. When you go on talking, you do not just abruptly end it, right? You do not conclude it. You need to start. So you have a topic, you initiate an information, you initiate a discussion. From there, you go on increasing the length. Similarly, when you're writing, that is also a form of discussion, but here you are not doing it verbally, rather you are writing. So when you are discussing about both the circumstances where a verbal method is used and a writing method is used, in both the cases we have a time frame. So when we are sitting along with our friends, we have a time frame. Okay, we have sat here, or we are on a discussion for 2 hours, then after that we are going back home, or we are going to the job places, right? Then we are all back to your own world. But before that, we have a time frame. Okay, dear friends, we are going to sit and talk about around 2 hours, or we have got a 2 hours break, and we'll talk about it. Similarly, when you're sitting for an examination, you have 1 hour length, or you have a length of 2 hours. Within that time frame, you bring about the information. And when you overflow the time, then what happens? It creates boredom. It creates redundancy. Your information is repeated, and you lack in quality. So that is what is going to hamper your writing, and as well as your discussion along with your friends. When your friends want you to speak on a particular topic, you take up a hot topic or informative topic and you discuss. But when there is no proper flow of information, none of your friends will appreciate your speech, or they're not going to appreciate your conversation. Similarly, when you write something, there has to be a proper flow. It has to come with introduction, description, and then you conclude it well, and need to maintain the length. When you just get overexcited, it doesn't mean that you have a lot of information. You go on writing and go on writing, and then as a result, it spoils everything, right? Your information that has been written earlier, or when you had a good introduction, even that is going to get hampered. So it's very important to maintain the length, and then you conclude it well. Then what happens? It creates a good ratio in the quality. That means the ratio I'm talking about is the information and the length. There's a ratio of good information and good length. When there is an imbalance in the ratio of writing and the length and information, what happens? You compromise in your quality. Okay, so you need to focus on the qualitative and as well as the quantitative aspect of writing. So when you go for writing, you need to ensure that you have a proper plan, proper sketch. I need to finish it within this time frame. Then I'm going to elaborate my writing depending on the keywords. I've got a keyword, I go and analyze that keyword. I can take examples from my own life and then write. Similarly, when you're sitting for literature exam, they then ask for 350 word or four pages writing, so for each answer. So it's very much elaborative. You need to have a good flow of information. But again, my friend, you need to look up to your time as well. You cannot just waste your time. So there's a saying that time frame can kill you. So when I say time frame can kill you, it means if you do not finish in a proper time, or if you do not use the allotted time, then what happens? Your other answers get affected as well. So you need to have a good ratio of thinking and information to put up on the answer script so that it looks nice. So discussion on the keywords, thinking about the keywords is very important, and you compare the keywords with certain aspects, outer aspects, which may not be directly connected with your text, or may not be directly connected with what is asked in the question or the questionnaire. So you can take the keywords and analyze with your own life, with the seniors, with your country, with the society, with education. So that is linking your word or keywords with certain aspects to increase the length. There are certain students who face problem during increasing the length or maintaining the length. So when you take the keywords and you compare with certain aspects, then what happens, your writing automatically shapes up, it is molded into a good form, and then what happens, it produces a very fine writing, which do not fail to fascinate every student. So you see, you are well appreciated in the form of marks, and your friends do appreciate your speech as well when you maintain a proper length and decorum while writing. Decorum do not apply only to the parliament, decorum is also for your writing. You need to ensure a proper length ratio is maintained. There should be good frame of introduction and description and then conclusion, and your comparison of the keywords that you have in the questions are very, very important. You compare those keywords, you analyze those keywords with certain other aspects to increase your length, but provided you should have proper logic and proper information, then only you will see your writing is generated in a very good standard. So I hope you all are enjoying my video, and please do check the previous videos to stay tuned and updated, because you see, if you miss out the previous video, you will not understand my comparison and the connectivity with the other videos. Please do watch them again and again, and do not forget to share, like and subscribe. Thank you.